On behalf of Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome all of you for the today's webinar on Introduction to Social Auditor and how to prepare for Social Auditor exams. Our today's speaker is CMA Raghavendra S. Chilveri. He is a fellow member of the Institute. Also, he has a 10 plus years of experience in industry and 6 plus years of experience into practice as a cost accountant, register valuer, and insolvency professional. Also, he is a partner in ICAI and Associates Pune. Now, I request sir to kindly start the session.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I will share my presentation. How to share the presentation, ma'am?
There is a share tab, sir.
Okay.
Visible, sir.
Yeah, it's visible. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am a CMA Raghavendra Chilveri. I am a cost accountant, practicing cost accountant. I'm also practicing as a registered valuer and insolvency professional. And I have recently cleared social auditor exam. So today we are going to talk about the social auditor. What is the social auditor? What is the social audit and how to become social auditor? So our today's points of discussion or area of discussion is first is what is mean by social sector, then what is the social stock exchange, how to become a social, what is mean by social auditor, who can become a social auditor, what is the role of a social auditor, and uh, how a social auditor can perform or what are the opportunities available to social auditor in the social audit sector, and how to prepare for the social audit exam. So first we will talk about the social sector. We all know about the private sector and public sector. Public sector is mainly the government owned companies or companies or the businesses which are run by the government, that we call as a public sector. And when the businesses or any activities are owned and run by the private sector or private individual, we call it as a private sector. But there is another third sector which we rarely talk about, that is the social sector. What is the social sector? Social sector consists of the mainly not-for-profit organizations or what we call it NGOs and for-profit social enterprises. So there are some enterprises which run on profit, but their ultimate aim is to serve the society. In India, as per the Central Statistical Institute's estimate, there are more than 33 lakhs not-for-profit organizations registered. So if you see compared to the total population, there are almost 450 for each 450 Indians, there is a one NGO which is registered and operating in India. If you see the total the areas in which they work, around 26% of NGOs work in the religious activity, whereas around 21% work in social services, around 28% work in the education, around 18% work in the sports and culture, and approximately 7% of the NGOs work in the healthcare sector. I think there is some disturbance. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Around 73% of the NGOs, though we have a large number of NGOs registered in India, but most of the NGOs work on a very limited resources. So there are very limited staff, or we can say around 73% of NGOs don't have a paid staff or less than one paid staff. So though there are a large number of NGOs in India, but their financial strength and the strength in the sense of delivering results is very weak. So what is the objective of the social sector? So objective of the social sector is mainly addressing the gaps in the sectors like education, health, housing, environment, energy, for poverty eradication, healthcare, or improving the overall living standard of the people, focusing on the disadvantaged and vulnerable sectors of the population, conducting research and feeding better informed programs across these sectors, and forming the think tanks organization based on research and the think tanks research, government and the other sectors can form better policies to address these social issues. That is the main objective of the social sector. But all these social sector activities needs funds, right? So there are mainly three sources through which this sector gets the fund. First is the donations from the public, the donation from the entities, organizations, or governments. Then government grants. There are various programs run by the government where government give grants to the NGOs to run programs to address particular problems or the problems of the particular sector of the society. Then CSR funding. As we all know, Companies Act mandates companies to spend a percentage of profit on the CSR program, that is Corporate Social Responsibility Program, through which these companies contribute funds to this social sector activity. But there are challenges in getting those sources. So what are the challenges? When we talk about the donations, mainly the denominations of these donations are small. Then, because of the small denominations, the cost of sourcing these donations or funds is very high. So it makes economically unviable to uh, uh, fetch those funds to run the program. Then higher administrative costs, and they are not linked to the outcome. So many times we do donations, but we don't know whether those donations or funds are really utilized for the purpose they are intended. So this discourages people from uh, giving funds to such social activity. And most of the NGO or the social sector is unorganized in India. So to overcome all these challenges, the government in 2019-20 budget first time introduced the concept of social stock exchange. In Union Budget 2019-20, our Finance Minister Sitaraman has declared the introduction of the social stock exchange in India. The main what is the social stock exchange? So we all know about the
લાડુ
uh,
જામીને સરખા સેટ થાય પછી તેને એર ડબ્બામાં ભરી 5 થી 6 દિવસ સુધી રૂમ ટેમ્પરેચર પર સ્ટોર કરી શકાય છે તો તમે પણ આ રેસીપી
thank you. So what is the social stock exchange? So we all know about this financial stock exchange like BSC and NSE, that is not National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange, where companies are get listed. They issue their IPO. Then there is a secondary market where company shares are traded. Then mutual funds are also get listed. There are equity traded funds which are get listed and traded on the stock exchanges. So it is very much similar to the stock exchanges. There is a new concept called social stock exchange. The objective of this social stock exchange, as defined by the or as initiated by the finance minister in her budget speech, was it is an electronic fundraising platform which will be regulated by the SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India, for listing of social enterprises and voluntary organizations, that is NGOs and not for profit social enterprises. They will get listed on this platform, which is regulated by the Security Board of Exchange in India, and those who are working towards social welfare activities to raise capital. So, social stock exchange, like our regular financial stock exchange, where companies issue shares to raise capital, here the NGOs or for-profit social enterprises will list themselves, and they will raise capital through the social stock exchange to fund their social initiatives or social programs. And there will be this fundraising will be through equity or through debt or a unit similar to the mutual funds. So right now there are two social stock exchanges operating in India. One is the NSE, SSC, that is National Stock Exchange, Social Stock Exchange, which on December 19, 2022, this SEBI given an approval to NSE to form the Social Stock Exchange, to set up a stock exchange. Same way, BSC got an approval from SEBI in December 2022 to set up a social stock exchange. So in India, currently there are two social stock exchanges operating. One is run by the NSE, that is National Stock Exchange. The other one is by the Bombay Stock Exchange. So why there was a need of a social stock exchange? So as we have seen, that there is a gap between the and gap or the challenges for raising the funds to the social stock exchange to fund their programs and to address the social causes. So the need of the social stock exchange was to bring together social enterprises and donors. So in India, the NGO or the donation sector is totally unorganized. Even CSR programs also are run by the companies independently. There is no single platform where all the participants of these social causes can come together and uh, exchange their ideas and funds. So social stock exchange will be a platform where these social enterprises who are actually working in the social stock social initiative and the donors who can fund such program can come together, funding and growth of social enterprises. So when this social initiatives will get proper funding, definitely there will be growth in the social enterprises and overall social growth. Then standards of social impact assessment and reporting. Uh, till date, the social sector is totally unorganized. There are no standards and or there are no methods to evaluate the performance of these social enterprises or the NGO. So the social stock exchange, the companies which are listed on the social stock exchange, they have to do the reporting, just like the companies which are listed on the SEBI and companies which are listed with the MCA, they have to do their periodical reporting. Same way, the companies, the NGOs or the for-profit enterprises which are listed on the social stock exchange, they have to do their audit and reporting periodically to the social stock exchange, and to bring the transparency and accountability in the social enterprises activity as well as their fundraising. So as we already discussed, there are two stock exchanges operating in India. One is the social stock exchange by NSC, where till September end, 25 NPOs are registered, and with BSC there are 24 NPOs are registered, but most of the NPOs are registered on the both. So we can say around there are hardly 4 5 NGOs which are registered on the either one side, or in rest 20 are registered on the both. So in India, total if we club together, there are around 25 NPOs which are registered on the social stock exchange when we put together NSC and BSC. So to bring this social stock exchange concept actually implemented, SEBI has to do some amendments in the existing regulations. So SEBI has mainly amended three regulations. First is the SEBI ICDR, that is issue of capital disclosure regulation. Then listing obligation disclosure regulation and SEBI AFA. these three regulations are amended, so that the concept of social stock exchange and the listing of uh, the instruments issued by the social stock exchange companies like or NGOs can be allowed. So what are the types of the instruments that a social company or the NGO can issue on the social stock exchange? So there are mainly three types of instruments. One is the ZCZP, that is zero coupon, zero principal. Normally we have preference shares or the debentures where we have a coupon rate, and at the end of their life that a preference share or debentures get redeemed, so the owner gets the its principal amount. But in this zero coupon zero principal, the holder of that instrument will neither get the any coupon or the interest, nor he will get his principal back, because this is a fundraising for the NGOs where they are using this fund for implementing some social initiatives, and not the any profit generating objective. So there won't be any return to the holder of this instrument. Then social impact fund. This social impact fund will work similar to our mutual fund, where the fund will be created with a predefined social objective, and people will instead of giving donations, we can buy this uh, units of the social impact fund. And then debt and equity. The social stock exchange will also allow for profit enterprises, that is which companies which are registered under Companies Act, which are generating profit, but they are working in the social cause. So the profit are again reinvested in that social cause only. For such entities, the option of raising funds through debt instrument and also issue of the equity is also available on the social stock exchange. So we will go a little bit deep into the zero coupon, zero principal. So in zero coupon, zero principal, this can be issued by the NPO, that is not for profit entities only. For profit social enterprises cannot issue zero coupon, zero principal bonds. This can be issued only by the NGOs or not for profit entities. As the name suggests, it doesn't carry any coupon, nor it will give you any principal repayment at the end of the tenure. But these instruments will be listed on the social stock exchange, and they will be issued for a specific project or activity. So where these funds are going to be utilized and for what purpose or what project they are going to be utilized, this is predefined. So while listing this instrument on the social stock exchange, the NGO has to predefine all these objectives and activities, and accordingly they have to raise this fund. The minimum issue size will be 1 crore, and the application size or the ticket size for one minimum investment will be of 1 lakh rupees. We will move to understand the what is mean by the social audit. What is social audit? Social audit is an independent evaluation of the performance of an organization as it relates to the attainments of its goals. So normally when we talk about the audit, like a financial audit or cost audit, we do the audit of the numbers. That is how the in terms of financial audit, whether revenue or cost are properly accounted in costing, whether the cost is properly accounted, whether the allocation and apportionment of the costing is properly done. That type of audit we do our regular financial or cost audit. But in case of social audit, we the objective is not to audit the financial numbers. It is to audit the attainment of its social goal. So whether any program or any entity which is operating for a particular social cause, whether that program or that sorry ma'am.
CR2 दिया CR4 भी देते हैं ए तुमने चैट में डाला क्या?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, ma'am. I'm audible, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because I'm not getting any response, so I'm a little bit confused.
Okay.
So in social audit, the social auditor has to assess whether the social impact or the objective of that social program or that activity is achieved or not, or to what extent it has achieved. So it is an independent evaluation. So it is an evaluation by a third person, means this not by that entity which is running that social cause program, not by uh, the, the recipients or the beneficiaries of that program, but a third person or independent evaluator who will evaluate the performance of that program or that activity, and to determine whether the uh, predetermined goals are achieved or not. So this is the main objective of the social audit. How the social audit will be done? It will be done through a social engagement, transparency, and information communication, and to bring the accountability of the decision makers and representative managers of that organization. So the social audit will bring the transparency and accountability in the social sector. So who can be a social auditor? Social auditor will be an individual who is registered with the self-regulatory organization. So our ICMAI has formed a self-regulatory organization that we call ICMAI-SAO, ICMAI Social Auditor Organization. So there are social self-regulatory organizations formed by the ICAI, ICMAI, ICSI also. So any person who is any individual who is registered with such self-regulatory organization and who has qualified a certain program conducted by the NISM, that is National Stock Institute of Securities Management, and holds a valid certificate, he can become a social auditor. And to become to work as a social audit firm means any entity which has employed social auditor and has a track record of minimum 3 years for conducting social impact assessment. So to become to form a social audit firm, we should employ social auditors who have more than 3 years experience into the social impact assessment. So what is the importance of this social audit? Social audit is required to narrow the gap between the original goal or the vision of that program and what is really happening, the reality or the ultimate objective versus the what actually we have achieved, or what is the efficiency of and effectiveness of that program. So whether the initially determined goals objectives are achieved or not through that program, that has to be ascertained. Then measure, verify, and report on social performance of the organization, and create impact on governance. When we do this comparison between the goal versus actual achievement, there will be a accountability, and definitely that will have an impact on the governance of this social organization, that is not for profit organization, and increase the effectiveness and efficiency of the social projects. So social audit is required to bring the transparency, accountability, and improve the overall governance of the NGOs, and to assess the social impact assessment and its performance. What is the role of the social auditor in all this program? First is the onboarding of the NPOs on the social stock exchange. So social stock exchange, like our regular BSC or NSE company, has to first get listed on that portal. That is called as a onboarding. So this onboarding requires some documentation and some what is certification, and they have to prepare various reports as per the uh, predefined rules and regulations, and then they have to approach to the social stock exchange for onboarding. So the social auditor can help NGOs and NGOs and NPOs for this process. Then listing of instruments. As we discussed, social stock exchange will have instrument listed on their stock exchange, and it will be traded like zero coupons, zero principal, debt instruments, then social impact funds like our mutual fund. So listing of this instrument is also an activity where social auditor can help NPOs and for-profit social enterprises. Then the most important role of the social auditor is the giving the social impact assessment report. So all the companies, all the entities which are listed on the social stock exchange, they have to prepare social impact assessment for all their social programs, and they have to uh, submit these reports to the social stock exchange every year. So preparing social impact assessment report for the all programs is a big activity, and where the social auditor has to contribute. And in case of CSR projects where the total spend is more than 5 crore in a year, that those programs needs to get audited by the social auditor, and he has to prepare and submit an annual report on CSR spending of that firm. So it is other than the NPOs. NPOs has to do a social impact assessment reporting every year, and for private companies which are listed, which are not listed on the social stock exchange, but they are on the other platforms, or and which come under the CSR. And if their CSR spending for a year is more than 5 crore, then they have to do the annual reporting of such CSR project, and which is to be done by the social auditor. So what is the social impact assessment? Social impact assessment is the assessing the impact of a particular program on the society or the its intended beneficiary. So social impact assessment is actually doing the audit of that original intent versus actual, whether the project is delivering its intended objective or not, whether it is achieving its intended objective or not. That has to be done by the social auditor through the social impact assessment, and to encourage companies to take considerable decisions before deploying CSR amount. So this social impact assessment has to be done every year by the entities which are listed on the social stock exchange. And normally social programs, they run for more than 1 year, maybe 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. So the social impact assessment is uh, the social impact assessment will help to consider their make them the decisions, and correcting their course of action in future, so that company can ultimately achieve its the company or the NGO can achieve its intended goals at the end of that CSR project, and to serve as a feedback for companies to plan and allocate resources better. So this is about the social audit and what is meant by social audit. Now we will move to understand who can become a social auditor. So to become a social auditor, one has to be a valid COP holder of a CMA, CA, or CS. So we have to be a practicing professional. So people who are in employment cannot become social auditor. Only professionals who are into the practice can only become social auditor. A CA, CMA, or CS who is holding a COP, or a postgraduate from a university with minimum 3 years experience in development sector. Now here, what is mean by development sector? It is not defined anywhere, but generally it is considered that someone who is already experienced into the social, who has worked in the social enterprises, NGOs, and who has done this type of reporting assessment, that will be considered as a valid experience for this. And someone who has a graduation from a university, then he needs to have 6 years experience in the development sector. So this is the basic eligibility. Then he has to complete the certificate course which is conducted by the NISM. So with the basic eligibility and the completion of the NISM course, one can become a social auditor. So what are the steps? First, we have to see whether we are eligible to become a social auditor. So we have to look at this first three conditions. If he is a professional, then he should have a valid COP and he should not be into a employment. And if it is not a professional, then a graduate or postgraduate with a relevant experience. Then he has to enroll with the NISM, and after enrolling with NISM, he has to give the exam which is conducted by the NISM. And once you clear the exam, we have to approach the any of the self-regulatory organization like our ICMAI-SOA, and we have to enroll with the ICMAI-SOA, and we will be registered as a social auditor. So what is the examination pattern? Examination, it is a multiple choice question, and it is a computerized exam. So an NISM conducts exam for various securities exchange rate, market related courses. Same way they are conducting exams for the social auditors also. It is a computerized exam with a multiple choice question. The total marks will be 100. So there will be total 100 questions. Out of that, 85 questions will be of a it will be a single mark questions, and for 15 marks we have to there may be one or more case studies, and based on that case studies we have to answer the question. And the passing for percentage for this exam is 60, and that is after negative marking. So for every wrong answer there will be 1 to 5 negative marking for each wrong answer. So after considering all these positive negative, your total mark should be more 60 or above. Then only you will consider it as a you are cleared the NISM exam. Now moving to the syllabus. This is the overall syllabus of the social auditor. First is the introduction to social sector and Indian financial market. So this topic is mainly about the understanding the overall financial market in India, and what is meant by the social sector. Then this is second chapter about the different participants of the financial market. So who are the parties involved in the trading, how the clearing settlements happen, how the risks are mitigated, all those things are covered in this second chapter. The third chapter about is the social stock exchange. So what is this in other countries, and what is the view of the social stock exchange in India? That is discussed in this chapter. Then registration and listing of social stock exchange. This topic talks about the process of registering or onboarding of the NGOs on the social stock exchange. Then social audit and social auditor. So what is the social audit? What are the objectives of the social audit, and who can do that social audit? Means who will be a social auditor? That is discussed in this chapter 5. This chapter 6 about the auditing techniques and standards. So there are different techniques, methods which are used worldwide in doing the social audit or social impact assessment. So this topic did discuss about the social audit methods, techniques, and its standards. Then next is about the social impact assessment. What is the social impact assessment? How to do the social impact assessment? They have given some case studies also where they have discussed about a particular social program and how a social impact assessment is done for that particular program. The same is the social impact assessment case studies. Then disclosure norms reporting by the social auditor and penalty. So as we said, this social NGOs will be listed on social stock exchange. They have to do the reporting. Same way, this reporting, the social auditor also has to follow some reporting norms and principles and guidelines. So this topic talks about this. social auditors reporting requirements and norms, and what are the penalties if he fails to adhere to those norms. Then topic 10 is about the taxation in India, the regular taxation, direct tax, indirect taxes. And topic 11 about the key regulations that is related to the social stock exchange, that is ICDR, LODR, AIF, all those securities market related topics are discussed in this chapter. So this is the overall syllabus of this chapter of the social auditor exam. If you see the major emphasis on the social audit and social audit techniques and what is the social assessment. Uh, so this is the overall syllabus. The syllabus, it is very simple. All the information is available. When once you register with the NISM, you will get the entire study material where you will get all this information. We have to go through this all the information, and based on that, we have to attempt the exam where we have to select the right correct answer out of the four options given. And this is the site of the NISM where we have to enroll. So first we have to enroll. First we have to register with the NISM. For that, first we have to create an account with the NISM. Once you create account and your documents get validated, you will get a SMS and email from the NISM that now you can enroll for the exam. So once that is done, you can enroll for the exam and you can select the date. Once you select the date and pay the fees, you will get the study material. So that there is no additional course or additional what you call that any program you have to undergo. Just you have to register with the NISM, and then you can take any next available date to attempt this exam. So this is from my side on the social audit and social auditor. Now we will move to the question answer. Anybody has any question? Hello.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, yes, sir.
You mentioned about the social impact analysis and all. Again, this
Mhm.
subject is very interesting, and thank you very much for your kind. You prepared nice presentation for my knowledge, because it was appealing. That's why I'm attended this webinar. I'm thankful to the WIRC also for organizing such a nice program. And then when you have cleared the exam recently, so it's a good thing for people like me to understand the concept itself. I read many things in the paper and all, but just while going through your webinar, a couple of questions which has come to my mind. First is that the social impact assessment which you mentioned. Again, as I know, social impact is basically a very subjective matter. It is cannot be tangibly seen, and like our cost audit or finance audit or GST audit, whatever, it can be seen, number crunch, and everything is there.
Yeah.
Whereas in social impact analysis, what I'm just asking, I'm asking maybe a question which may not be relevant, but if you can try to answer it, that will be very interesting. Like when we are talking about social impact analysis, and then one NGO or some organization has done some activity in a area, and they were found that this is the impact, and then how the impact a social auditor will monitor. That is first question. Second is again, it is changing concept. Again, it's a flexible. Again, today we have done the social impact analysis. Tomorrow it will change. Next, after a few days or few months, somebody asks the question, then how you have done the audit, because that impact has been changed thereafter. So this is the volatile subject and basically subject to matter, and it is impacting everybody. So chances of again fixing our responsibility and how we can do that impact analysis, like unlike to our financial numbers, it is not there in books of accounts, and there is no voucher or there is no tangible thing to be seen. So how you have seen that? Just if you can answer that, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, sir, first of all, thank you for your kind words. So, see, social impact assessment is we have to ascertain whether the objective, the predefined objective of that program is achieved or not, or whether the activities conducted by that NGO or NPO, whether they are leading towards that attainment of those social objectives. That is what we have to ascertain. So definitely, this is different from our financial audit where we have numbers voucher, but still, when any NGO conducts any social program, so there will be some beneficiaries. Definitely, there will be maybe a person, a society, maybe a group of people ultimately who are going to benefit from that program, right? So we have to do the what we call maybe direct, indirect interviews. We have to collect the data, we have to collect the samples, we have to do the field work there to get the information. We have to collect the information, and based on that, we have to form our opinion whether that program is delivering
So,
its objective or not. So, though it is a subjective, still we can, like in our audit, we do the sampling where we take some sample cases and we study whether the process is followed, whether SOP is followed, whether proper authorization is followed or not. Same way, here we have to, there are different methods and techniques which are defined in the social audit program, which are available in that study material. If you go through that, you will understand. Though it is a subjective, still there is a what you can we can objectively we can do this work and we can come to a conclusion. Definitely, that conclusion may differ person to person to some extent. So one may feel it is very much on the track. One may feel no, it is on the track, but still there is a scope for improvement. There will be some subjective difference will be there, but still we can collect the evidences based on which we can form our opinion.
Exactly, sir. Again, there how anybody can say that education project has been taken by one NGO, and
Hmm.
then how can one as a auditor can
Hmm.
quantify how
Yeah. So,
much
for example,
that
okay, sir.
significance
We
has
will
come?
take your example of education. See, suppose a NGO, they are working in an education program, and their aim is to bring maximum children, the school going children into the our education system. So they might be conducting this program in a slum area or in a remote area where most of the children, school going age children, they are not into the education. They are not attending school, and they are not part of our education system. So definitely you can take a, you can do the field survey. You can find, you can what you can say, you can collect data based on the what is the total population, out of that how many are there in that category of the school going age, and out of that, what before this program start, what was the average percentage of the total that population was in school, and what is the percentage that is out of school, and after implementation of this program, whether there is increase in that thing, whether say for example, earlier there was around 25% was only going in the school, and rest 75% students or the people who were not going to school, though they have attained the school going age. Now after implementing a program maybe for 1 year or 2 years, now suppose we can say instead of 25%, now that percentage increased to 40%, 50%. So based on that, we can ascertain whether there is an impact or not. Correct. So this type of evidences, this type of data we have to collect. Say for another example, maybe one NGO working in the what you call the ground level water level improvement program. They might be doing a program where they want to increase the groundwater level. So this can be ascertained based on the what is the overall the agriculture, how the agriculture produce is changing over there. When there is a groundwater depletion, there will be different impacts of that on the society, the people, its agriculture, and the quality of water also. So based on all these data, we can ascertain whether based on that program, whether there is any impact. So there will be, when there is a problem, there will be some symptoms because of that problem. So we have to identify those symptoms and how that symptoms have changed over the period. Before implementing this program and after implementation of the program, how these things have changed. Based on that, we can form an opinion. And for that, we have to ultimately we have to collect some data, evidences, and we have to convert that into numbers ultimately. Without that, we cannot give our opinion.
Thank you, sir. Small two questions again before
Yeah,
other
yeah.
participants can ask. India is the first country to implement this social audit program. That is first. And where the social audit report, which prepared by social auditor, will be submitted, this will be submitted like this or the directors board is submitted and everything to shareholders. The cost audit report is submitted to CAB. Where this report is to be submitted? We have to submit it to the NGO or where? Thank you.
Okay. So first question, social stock exchange is not a new concept. There are various countries like Singapore, Brazil, UK, where this concept is already implemented. In some countries, this has performing. So some countries, this concept has failed. So based on the experiences of different countries, we have India has formed the social stock exchange concept, taking into consideration the uh, expenses of the other countries, and we have formed this. So definitely, we are looking forward it positively that this will succeed in India. That is the first question, and the answer to your first question. And what was the second question, sir? Okay, sorry.
Where to the
Where we
reports?
can see those reports. Okay. See, now this year in December 22, this SEBI has given approval to form this social stock exchange, and just recently this stock exchanges are the companies are getting on board. So still that reporting is yet to be done. This may happen in next year, that 2024. These companies have to, the NGOs have to undergo the social impact assessment audit, and then we can see that these reports they have to submit to the company board or that NGO's board, the trustee, maybe there will be trust in case of NGOs, and for profit social enterprises, there will be board of directors. To them, the social impact assessment has to be submitted. Also, the social impact assessment has to be submitted to the social stock exchange also. Like we do the MCR reporting for the limited companies, private limited and all those things. Same way, the companies which are onboarding on the SSC, social stock exchange, they have to submit these reports to them also. And I hope this will be a public document.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, anybody who has already given this exam from today's audience?
Sir, what is the duration of this course?
Duration. See, as I explained earlier, once you are registered with the NISM, means first you have to create an account on NISM, where you have to register yourself with your PAN, Aadhaar, and your qualification, the maybe COP. And once they review those documents, and normally within 3 working days you will get a approval from NISM. And once you get the approval from NISM, you can enroll for exam any day which is available, next day available. Normally this exam is conducted throughout the NISM center. I'm in Pune, so in Pune we have 3 centers where they conduct this exam. In few centers they conduct it on Saturday, Sunday. In another center they conduct it on Wednesday, Thursday, and one center they conduct it on Friday. So any day which is any You can say the any day which is available, next available date you can select. So there is a no predefined time gap between the registration and the actual attempting exam. Like you not have to go to any particular training or a course. Once your registration is approved by NISM, you can immediately select the date and you can appear for exam. Maybe the if date is available, you can select the next day also. For example, I registered with NISM today. I got my approval today. If tomorrow's date is available, I can go for exam tomorrow also. So there is no time gap or a predefined course duration is there. Only thing is you have to prepare yourself for exam. So that takes time. So normally I suggest you should take a one week's date. Once you get registered with NISM, maybe a 4, 5, 6 days after the once registration, you select a date and you give one attempt to understand the questions because it is all a theoretical subject. It's social audit, all the water syllabus, it is purely theoretical. To
Okay.
understand the questions and to prepare for the exam, first you should understand the question pattern, how they ask the questions, and how you should prepare yourself for that exam. So for give for first attempt as soon as available, and then accordingly you can prepare for your next exam, next attempt.
Sir,
Then
one
you
more,
can take based on your availability and the time you may feel required to prepare yourself.
sir, one more question.
Yeah.
Suppose today I'm in practice, I have passed this examination and I got the
Mhm.
certificate to do the
Mhm.
social audit. Okay.
Mhm.
After some time, I joined a job. Then I will be allowed to do the social audit or not?
No,
No.
no.
So suppose
You
I leave
but
the job.
you can be you can join a social audit firm. Then you are allowed. But if you go into the other fields, you get into employment in other fields, then you cannot do the social audit.
Okay, suppose after I resigned after 3 years and again I got the COP from CMA Institute to the cost
Mm.
audit. Then what will happen? Again, I have to pass the examination or my old social audit certificate will be renewed. And what are the terms and conditions for the renewal again?
No, that is not defined there. I'm also not aware of this case.
Okay.
Whether there is a time limit. What I understand is, once you clear the exam, you have 3 years time to register yourself as a social auditor. This is based on I'm understanding. I've not read it anywhere, but this is my understanding. What I have learned when I attended our other courses while preparing for this exam. I've also attended some social audit related CEP programs
Mm.
where during discussion what I understood is that once you clear the exam, you have 3 years time to register yourself as a social auditor with any self-regulatory organization. So between that, you can work, and before completing that 3 years period, you can anytime you can register yourself as a social auditor. And my understanding is if once that time period is over, then you have to again give the exam. Like the same way we are happening with the IP and RV. So they have a 1 year's gap. So from the date of clearing the exam, within 1 year you have to register yourself as a
Social audit.
registered valuer or the insolvency professional. Many people they first even during the employment they are attempting the exam, and after clearing the exam they are leaving the job and they are getting into the practice. So
So,
maybe in social worker the same thing will happen.
so while I am in a job, I can pass the examination. I will not get the
Yes,
certificate to do the social audit, but I can
yes,
pass the examination.
yes. You can pass the examination, but you cannot register as a social auditor with the social auditor organization.
Okay.
To register, because while registering you have to give a declaration that you hold a valid certificate and you are not in a employment. That declaration we have to give at the time of registration.
Okay.
So exam appearing for exam, there is no bar. Even if you don't have a required eligibility, still you can attempt the exam, but
Okay.
you cannot register as a social auditor. Because at the time of registration, you have to give all the proofs. We have to give our COP, we have to give our what is called the certificate of our CMA or CS course. We have to also give the experience certificates. So that time, if you are in employment or if you don't have the eligible, what is called that experience, your registration application may get cancelled. But you can give the exam for your information or for knowledge
Oh,
purpose. That is not issue.
oh, thank you.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Can we give exam twice in a day like we give in IP?
Sir, even now in IP also you cannot give exam twice in a day. Earlier this system was there. Now you one till you attempt your first exam, you cannot enroll for the next. So you cannot you cannot enroll for more than one exam date at a time. Now you have to select only one date. You have to register. You have to pay fee, and after that date only you can again take the next exam date. Even that in IP also that is not available now. Earlier this used to be there, but now NSM is not allowing that.
Okay, thank you.
And in computer science, if anybody wants to go for the exam, I have some study material. I have a question bank that is useful based on which I have done the study. So I can share that. You can drop a mail to my mail ID, and I will share those that question bank. And I also have a study material where the important parts of that study material are highlighted, and you have to only read that material, and based on that you can attempt exam easily. So in anybody who are interested in this exam and who wants my help, I can share that material with you.
So in an audit, how much time you have to devote means how much time, suppose you got some assignment and how much time it takes means 1 day, 2 day, 10 days, 1 week.
Sir, still it is a very early. I have also recently passed this exam. I have also not done any
Okay.
practical work in
Okay.
this. And as I said, only companies are just on onboarding on the portal. Still, there is no instrument issued by any NGO. Only there are around 24, 25 NGOs which have onboarded on the social stock exchange. Now they have to issue the instruments on the social stock exchange. Then the social impact assessment work will start. So this is yet to start. We are still in a very early stage, and this is the time to become a social auditor easily. Because as we have seen in IP and RV, the earlier in initial time, maybe in first year time, the syllabus was easy, even questions were easy. Now it has become very tough. The syllabus has become very vast. There are so many case studies. There are so many things. The same thing will happen to social auditor maybe 2 3 years down the line. Now it is the time, and means this syllabus is limited. The question pattern, the exam pattern is still simple. So we can go for this exam, and we can wait and see how things develop, because still just SSC is formed, just companies are onboarding, just companies are onboarding on this stock exchange. Still they have to issue the instrument, and then the real work of this social impact assessment will start. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe 23, 24 will be the year where we will start seeing this reporting.
Okay, sir. Okay.
There is one question on chat box. So CMA BK Punelkar. Sir, when we talk of social stock exchange, issue of green bond has a significance. Shall be great if you could self elaborate. Sir, I'm not aware of this green bond. Anybody has any idea what is green bond? Or sir, can you explain what you mean by the green bond?
So this green bond they are issuing especially with respect to the social stock exchange for the purpose of all the ESG. When the concept of recently there was one seminar perhaps conducted by uh, ICSI or something on this green bond aspect. So some auditor was there, and I think what I understand with the green bond will be issued by the companies who are more on the ESG front. And
Okay.
finally, when they will be this registering that in the social stock exchange, that will
Mhm.
help us gathering the revenues from the companies to promote the ESG aspect. And especially, I have put another question when this nine principle of this NGBRC, which has recently come. So that
Mm.
also will have a positive impact on that.
Okay. So this related to ESG, environmental, social, and
Yes,
governance.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe that will help the companies to improve their image, and that may help them to
Hmm.
get the funds on the social stock exchange. But this
Uh,
green bond, there is a no special concept which is defined, or the instrument recognized by the SEBI under the social stock exchange.
CB itself is coming out with that green bond, sir.
No, sir, I am not aware of that.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Anyway,
sir.
thank you for
Right,
updating. I will also go through that. Yeah.
right, sir.
Yes. Anything else? No other question on chat box. Please give your email ID. So I've given my email ID and in chat box. So whoever interested in that question blank, they can drop a mail to my mail ID. I will revert to that mail and I will share the material and the question bank which is available with me. Okay. So if there are no further questions, can we conclude this CP? I think admin is not there. So if there are no further questions, we will conclude the CP. So thank you all for attending, and whoever
Thank
wants
you,
to,
sir.
yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks all of you for participating. Thank you.